If you have ADHD, then nights out are killing your bank account, and I'm going to tell you why. When you have ADHD, you struggle visualizing future consequences. So you put yourself in a state of, that's later me's problem. Especially when it comes to spending and you go, right, I've got like £1,000. I've got £1,000 in my bank account. I can spend as £1,000. And you get carried away thinking you have more money than you do because you've not taken into account your disposable income. And when it comes to nights out, which is a very phenomenon I'm going to talk about, is like the ADHD night out tax, which is like the hidden costs that people with ADHD spend on a night out compared to someone that doesn't struggle so much with their impulse control and being unable to recognize future consequences. And it's sort of a brutal mindset to get yourself stuck in when you say screw it on a night out and think, yeah, later me's problem. So you go out and you have some alcohol, you're drinking, you have a nice time with your friends, and then you spend a bit too much, you buy your friends some drinks because you want to keep the night going. And you don't realise how much you're spending until you wake up the next day and you check your bank account and you go, how much did I spend last night? And then you're overthrown with guilt, and it's not a nice feeling. And you often spend money on things to sort of help cheer yourself up after you feel so guilty about spending money, which is an awkward cycle to get stuck into. But the main thing should talk about in this movie is the nights out specifically, because the main way you can save money is simply by not going on nights out and not spending money. Then you'll save 100% of your money. But that's not realistic, because then you become a social recluse, and I'd argue that it's worse isolating yourself because you don't want to go out and spend money than the cost of spending on a night out. So instead of becoming a social recluse and sort of becoming lonely because you feel so guilty about spending so much money on night out, and you stop messaging your friends because you almost don't want to get invited on nights out, so you don't have that guilt of having to say no, or it's a really difficult one when it comes to nights out, especially in the UK, when the culture is around that when you're meeting up with your friends, what do? You go to the pub, you have a few drinks. So sort of breaking outside of that culture without excluding yourself from friend groups and stopping yourself from going out, the one thing you have to do is find a way of causing friction in your spending when you go on nights out. So you can still go along, but you don't spend as much as you have in the past, and then put yourself into potentially debt or just feeling shame, whatever it may be. So a few practical things you can do. One that sort of works for me is when you go on a night out, the sort of etiquette, or what you do, is you go out, meet your friends, you buy a drink, you drink that drink, keep it in front of you, keep it in your hand, you finish the drink, you get up and you buy another drink, and repeat throughout the night. So that's your routine you're stuck in. So what's good is to cause friction in that routine. So basically what I mean by this is your first drink can be an alcoholic drink, but then alternate to a soft drink in between, because you're still going through the motions of finishing your drink, and then you're going up and you buy another drink, and you sit down and you've got it in your hand, you hold it in front of you. That's your routine. So you're still doing your routine, but you're drinking less alcohol and spending less money on drinks. But you still get to go out and socialize with your friends, and you're still drinking, so you're not going, oh, I'm not drinking today, guys. Yeah, I'm staying sober. Because, that leads to additional pressures of, oh, why are you so boring? Just have a drink, what are you doing? And then you end up drinking more. You end up drinking, and you end up drinking a lot more than you expected, because you overcompensate because you don't want to be boring, which leads to spending more. So you're still going out and you're still having a drink with your friends, but it's a more cost-effective way. And if you get a soft drink in between drinks that has some caffeine in it, you get a little buzz from the caffeine. So you're still sort of taking a substance, you're taking a stimulant, So that can also help trick your brain and prevent it from falling short of, in the sense of like this, preventing your dopamine from depleting by going, I got a drink and then, oh, I didn't get an alcoholic drink. And I got an alcoholic drink, I didn't get an alcoholic drink. So you need to, it allows your brain to sort of accept that you're not drinking all the time. And once you get into that routine of going out, alternating alcoholic to soft drink, eventually you can go out and you can have like one drink and then two soft drinks and then one drink and two soft drinks. And maybe one day you'll realize you like not waking up the next day hungover out of your arse, and then you go out and you don't drink at all, but you're still going along and you're still being sociable and you feel confident and comfortable with still being sober in that environment, which is sort of the end goal, because you don't want to cut yourself off completely, because then that'll sure save you money, but it'll play a mental toll and make you feel, isolated and lonely and like you have no friends. And then it's even harder then to organise to meet up with your friends on a later date, because you've been turning down going out recently, you've stopped messaging them because you don't want to get invited out, because then you'll say yes and then you'll spend money, and then it forms this sort of like invisible barrier between you and your friends, where it takes a lot out of you to even just send a text message to be like, oh, do you want to hang out? Because you're almost like, oh, I don't want to bother them. And what if they don't like me anymore because I stopped drinking and stuff? And in some cases, maybe it is that environment, and maybe your friends aren't good for you, and maybe they're not really your friends, they just want you as a drinking buddy. And in that case, you can sort of assess the situation and then see if you actually want to continue being their friends or not. But just focusing on the nights out itself. Another thing, it's the second thing I do, I used to go on nights out, be having a great time, drink too much and whatever. And then it hits that moment in the night where you're like, oh, I don't want the night to end. And that's the danger zone. That's when you stay out till 5 a.m. That's when you have the worst hangover of your life the next day. That's when you spend hundreds of pounds. That's when you order a takeaway at 3 a.m, get McDonald's delivered. That's when you go on to Just Eat and order a packet of cigarettes to your flat at 5 a.m. It's awful. So one rule you have to prevent this from happening is simply go home before 1 a.m. 1 a.m. is the cutoff point, because nothing good happens after 1 a.m. Even if something really entertaining or funny happens, you're often too drunk to even remember it. And at this point, you're sleep deprived, you're drunk, you might be on some other substances, I don't know, but you've reached past the point of no return where you're in major screw it mode, and you spend money as if you've got unlimited money, and you buy some nicotine and you buy a round of shots, and then you buy 6 kebabs because you think you're that hungry, you eat half of one and then go, I don't need the rest of these. And you just, because your inhibitions are just so depleted and forgotten about, that you just kind of go crazy and spend way too much. So take yourself home before 1 a.m. It's quite good. A lot of places, like go to a bar that stays open till 1 a.m. So when they close, that's like, right, home time. You have to break the routine of one place closes and you go, right, let's get an Uber into town and go to a club that's open till 3. And like, how many mornings have you woken up and you've just gone, oh, I should have just come home after the bar. I don't know why I went to the club. Oh, I spent so much money on shots and blah, blah. And you have that sort of hangxiety of, oh, I just need to stop doing that. But you keep doing it because it's a routine, and routines are comfortable. So you follow that comfortable routine. So if you just strictly put a rule on yourself, home at 1 a.m, leaving at 1 a.m, set an alarm on your phone, set a notification, a reminder that pops up going, right, home time at like 5 to 1, home time. Don't be an idiot. You know what will happen tomorrow. You know how much you'll spend. Give yourself a pep talk when you're sober. Write that message out when you're sober and your inhibitions haven't been tainted, to send it to yourself. Because even something as little as that, you can go, I've now been confronted with the consequences in the future, but I'm getting confronted with them right now, so I can sort of recognize the future consequences. And then the fun of going out slowly depletes itself, and then you go, actually, yeah, it's not even worth going out actually, because the pursuit of fun is what makes you stay out longer, and the pursuit of, I don't want the night to end, I'm having so much fun. Oh, I just saw this friend I haven't seen for a while, I bumped into him, this is so crazy, let's go out. And every once in a while, one of those nights out is good, and it can be exciting, and then you can talk about it for a long time. But more often than not, you just end up ridiculously hungover, spending too much money, hurting your body, and then spending the next day being really unproductive because you're so hungover, and then you feel shit about yourself, and then you order a takeaway and spend more money. And when you get into that routine, that is when your life just sort of crumbles. And I can know from experience, it's just awful, because you know how bad it is, you know what you're doing to yourself, but you don't have the energy or the sort of confidence in yourself to actually change it. So consider this a wake-up call to stop spending so much money on nights out, take accountability for yourself, because no one else will. Unfortunately, you don't have a teacher, a parental figure, or a military sergeant by you at all times giving you instructions, as nice as that may be. You've got to just hold yourself accountable and really sit down and think, what actually is the best thing for me? And these lectures aren't fun, having these conversations with yourself aren't fun, because you're forcing yourself to change, and change is uncomfortable. But if you don't change, then nothing will change. So it's over to you. And I hope this is kind of helpful. I don't know, it's a bit of rambling, but either way, I'll see you in the next one.